I was an addict, and my addiction was not any substance, but emotional dependency. When a close family member became addicted to substance, my favorite pastime became monitoring them, also a part of my emotional dependency. With their substance abuse and addictive patterns growing by the day, my addiction of overthinking also grew. With our addictions, the entire family became dysfunctional. I began living on an emotional roller coaster with a flood of embarrassment, guilt, anger, low self-esteem and zero self-worth. I made excuses for their behavior. I protected my addict, covered their mess, their mistakes. My preoccupation was similar to the addict's obsession with substance. I forgot who I was and what my needs were. I failed miserably in all aspects of my life. I developed self-destruction patterns, engaged in blame game, and took no accountability of my behavior, of my actions. My head was always filled with the negative thoughts that kept away the guidance my inner voice was offering. It took a lot of suffering for me to realize that I needed help now, and a hope of turning my life around completely was born. I learned that addiction is a family disease, and I was no less of an addict than the one living on of substance. I was feeding on negative energy as much as other using the substance. Addiction is not necessarily to a substance, but it could come in mainly other forms like depression, overthinking, overeating, suicidal tendencies, emotional dependency, to name a few. This could be your story, or some of you know. Maybe you are still in between in somewhere, or maybe this has never happened to you. When I was told this story, I became more curious to understand what addiction was and how it became family disease. As a social worker and a theatre maker, I learned a lot about addiction and addictive patterns while I was working with the slum kids and theatre professionals. These slum kids would buy the solution for a negligible amount and pour it onto the handkerchief and sniff it one by one. I made successful attempts to create awareness about addiction through theatre and workshop with these kids. The three major traits of an addiction and addictive personality are justification, manipulation, and rationalization. Certain other traits include low boredom threshold, low emotional quotient, high intelligence quotient, low self-esteem. We become addicts because we are not comfortable and happy here. With our present reality and state of mind, so we move from here to there, the place of addiction, which is more comfortable to deal with, but a delusional state of mind and false self. This is where the vicious triangle of the victim, rescuer, and persecutor starts. Victim is a person forever pitying on himself, who feels like he is the misunderstood one amongst all. The first step to doing this is to detach from any kind of chaos and negativity. It is essential to identify the addictive patterns in us and to create new and positive opposite patterns in counter of the negative and destructive ones. It is important to build bond and connections with people you trust and can empty your cup of any given time. It is important to talk and to communicate, but most of all, it is important to understand and empathize with the addictive personality. They have to be treated with a lot of love and acceptance, to be absolutely non-judgmental with their issues, but also to be patient and receptive to what such a person is sharing with you is the key to being able to help them. But also remember that only a person who wants to be held can be helped, and they're also save you from taking up the rescuer identity by not forcing to save them. Recovery is a voluntary journey and decision. It is work in progress, and one should always aim for progress, not perfection. Adequate level of emotional maturity is important to be able to understand what an addict is feeling. It is also important for you to be healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, to be able to help this person and impart knowledge of what a good health means. Distancing, restricting, reprimanding an addict will create more distance and more disbalance for him. The law of attraction says that your thought manifests into your reality irrespective of them being negative or positive. The law of attraction is the law of the universe, and the universe simply aligns with your thoughts and creates what your thoughts attract. The decision of the kind of thoughts is ours. Addiction is a burning issue, and being an educator, I would like to request my fellow educators and everyone else to not neglect this issue and to work collectively for the growth of our society. Remember to just be the best version of yourself. Thank you.